I'm looking at all of this and I find myself saying, it's one of those.
I'm looking at all this noise and thinking, this is one of those moments when the numbers and the narrative don't line up. On one side, you've got Aya Wilson, the apex of the sport. On the other, a contract people keep side-eyeing like it's a punchline. The twist? She's collecting firsts the league has never seen, while the internet argues over price tags. And that contrast, dominance on the floor versus dollars on paper, turns every highlight into a referendum on worth. It's the classic collision, best player energy meeting business model lag, with fans stuck between the scoreboard and the spreadsheet. Before we jump to conclusions, pull back the camera. Eras change, caps move, and perception can run miles ahead of policy. This conversation isn't just about one deal. It's about a league growing faster than its old assumptions. Let's separate heat from light and lay out why this moment feels so loud. There's another layer most people miss. Attention has its own economy, and it rarely pays out on the same schedule as contracts. Wilson's game is airtight: footwork, timing, leadership, and that reliability is exactly what scoops up trophies. But contracts trail history. They're negotiated in yesterday's market, then judged in tomorrow's timeline. That mismatch fuels the hot takes. So yes, the jokes land easy, but they ignore the obvious. When a player's impact accelerates, paperwork takes a minute to catch up. The question isn't whether she's great. It's whether the system is built to recognize greatness quickly enough to matter.
This was in 1997, and then she's now one of 4 players that have 3 MVPs under their belt: Cheryl Swoops, Lisa.
Is someone actually mocking Aya Wilson's deal? The same Aya who didn't just win MVP. She vacuumed every first-place vote on the ballot, the first unanimous MVP since the league's launch era. That's not hype. That's unanimity. The room saying in one voice, she's the one. And that came after a season where she treated records like speed bumps, turning what used to be milestones into routine checkpoints. Mock the contract if you want, but understand what you're really mocking. A delay between performance and payout that happens in every sport when the star outgrows the structure. If the chatter sounds off, it's because it forgets scale. What she did wasn't just big for this year. It was the kind of statement that forces a reprint of the media guide. Zoom in on the basketball, and the noise gets quiet. Night after night, Wilson set the tone. Touch around the rim, mid-post patience, defensive presence that flips possessions before the shot even goes up. That isn't just production, it's control. It bends game plans, dictates rotations, and makes everyone else's job simpler. Contracts don't measure that in real time. Fans do, coaches do, opponents do, which is why the punchline framing falls apart the second you talk about impact instead of headlines. The truth is simple. When a player separates from the pack, the discourse splinters: numbers, narratives, and norms.
The Indiana Fever made the playoffs. They didn't play last night, but thanks to Las Vegas with a win over Chicago and Phoenix.
Unanimous isn't a vibe, it's math. In 2024, Wilson got all 67 first-place votes, a shutout, joining Cynthia Cooper as the only unanimous MVPs in WNBA history. Then came 2025, and she climbed even higher, becoming the first 4-time MVP the league's ever seen. Stack that next to the production. She didn't just pass the Taurasi mark from 2006, she smashed it, then crossed the 1,000-point barrier no one had reached before. That's not narrative juice. That's record book ink. And yet, some people still insist the most valuable conversation lives somewhere else entirely. Dan Patrick said the quiet part out loud. Clark might not be the league's best player, but she could still be the most valuable presence for the league. Translation: a player can move markets, merch, schedules, and eyeballs in ways the box score doesn't track, and that value matters. He wasn't denying Wilson. He was expanding the frame. In any entertainment business, influence can outscore efficiency. That's the fault line this debate keeps splitting along. Because next, the playoff picture turned that argument into a headline.
To be in this league, obviously, I'm happy that she's brought a whole bunch of new eyes along with Angel Reese and continuing to bring those fans. I mean, to be at the Fever game and for the game to be sold out like that, I'm not sure if every single one after has been sold out, but I know it's been close. And she's gonna turn.
Remember when Indiana locked in a 2024 playoff spot on a night they didn't even suit up? Chicago lost to the Aces, Atlanta fell to Phoenix, and suddenly the Fever were in, the franchise's first postseason since 2016. That's how hot the spotlight was. Results from other arenas were turning into Clark's storylines in real time. Momentum isn't only a run on the court. Sometimes it's the calendar rearranging itself around you. But if momentum is money, the next segment is where fans start doing math and getting mad. Here's the part that keeps setting timelines on fire. Aya Wilson's deal sits at about $200,000 for 2025, the second year of a 2-year pact. Meanwhile, the team's salary cap hovers around $1.5 million, and the league just layered on media packages that collectively hit roughly $200 million a year across partners, with USA Network signing on for 11 years starting 2026. The gap between stardom and salary isn't imaginary, it's structural. Players want a bigger slice as revenues scale, and that's exactly what the new CBA fight is about. Which brings us to the most emotional marketplace of all, sneakers.
Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go, have fun, enjoy. People need to realize the Indiana Fever, this is the second year in a row they had the number 1 pick. So do y'all know what that means? That means they're not that good. They had back-to-back years as the number 1 pick.
Why are you a hater on the Fever, man?
I am a realist. Because not only I get people are just crazy about why she should be doing this and they should be doing that. If she's so great, this team, it's still a team game, people. It is still a team game, and but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston doesn't.
Even before she logged a pro minute, Caitlin Clark reportedly inked an 8-year, $28 million Nike deal with a signature shoe attached. It was headline fuel because, months later, Aya Wilson's Nike Aone rolled out and sold out in minutes, a coronation for the league's most dominant player. Then came the discourse. Ethan Strauss argued Nike's timing reflected a reactive culture and complicated optics around whose shoe would drop first. Whether you buy that or not, the public takeaway was simple. Both athletes are now anchoring different halves of the same marketplace, one riding cultural surge, one riding unmatched production. And that tension keeps the conversation white-hot. And while the internet argued about swooshes, something else reshaped the Aces' near future. Roster churn isn't gossip, it's window management. Kate Martin, the rookie darling who became a fan favorite in Vegas, was selected by the Golden State Valkyries in the 2024 expansion draft and turned into a foundational piece out west. Moves like that ripple through rotations, chemistry, and cap tables. When you combine a superstar on a value deal, a league renegotiating its economics, and expansion teams raiding benches, you don't just get headlines. You get a brand new balance of power. So the question isn't who won Twitter. It's who's actually steering now.
Overwhelmingly black league whose stars have always been a little disproportionately white. And I think there is some real angst about another white player being pushed to the forefront. As it happens, though, a lot of the greatest women's players of all time are not like some great white hope thing. Diana Taurasi is unbelievable. I mean, Ionescu.
Aya Wilson's case is simple. Play better than everyone, longer than anyone, until the numbers shout for you. She did. She's the standard. Clark's case is different. Drag the spotlight wherever you go and make the sport bigger than it was yesterday. She did that too. If the contract debate sounds ridiculous, it's because the league has outgrown a pay model built for a smaller moment. Caps, media money, and signature deals will catch up, slowly, then suddenly. Until then, remember, best and most valuable are two different languages describing the same thing, power. The only real mystery is who gets fluent first, the accountants, the advertisers, or everyone watching.